All right, so I'm at Comic-Con 2011 with Brandon Alinger from the prop store. Well, or not welcome. Hello. There you are.
Welcome to you. Welcome
you
to
can
our
tell
booth.
it's day 4, so
yes, including preview night.
We're
Saturday,
yeah,
the busiest day.
We're a little bit fuzzy. So this is like the centerpiece of your display this year.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a big Star Trek promotion coming up in a couple of weeks. So we just thought that we would bring out some of the key pieces that we're going to be offering for sale for people to get an early look at here. So this is an original Khan tunic from the Wrath of Khan, the sequel to the original Star Trek picture. Ricardo Montalban obviously was Khan in the film. Very memorable. We've got lots of looks on this one, lots of people stopping by to see it. This is his tunic. One of his tunics, which was distressed for the production. You can see all the holes that are cut into it were obviously done intentionally for the film. They've been stitched into place so they don't tear any further. This one has got some stage blood on the back of it, so we believe it was probably used for action sequences, maybe for some of the scenes where there are explosions going off on the bridge towards the latter half of the film. It does have the original wrist communicator. But we don't have the necklace or the trousers. It's basically a torso piece, a bust-up piece, if you will. Khan's tunic. And I believe the concept here is that the material it's made out of is very similar to the material of the original Star Trek tunics. So it's as if Khan has taken one of those tunics and reworked it into this. Because Khan, of course, is a character who first appeared in 60s Star Trek.
And you guys have some special t-shirts made this year?
We do, yes. We came up with some very witty t-shirts that say Comic-Con 2011 and have an image of Khan on there, which you can stop by and pick up here in booth 3645 for just $20 a piece, or 2 for $40.
Cool, all right.
This is another piece that we brought out for people to see here at Comic-Con. This is an original C-3PO helmet, believed to be created for the production of Empire Strikes Back and reused in Return of the Jedi. We were just taking a look at the inside of it a few minutes ago, and one of the reasons that indicates that it's likely from the second film rather than the original film is that the detail piece on the back of the head, the greebly, is cast into it rather than being a separately found or machined piece. In the first film, the detail piece on the back of the head was stuck in separately. So this was created for Empire, we believe, and reused in Jedi, possibly created just for Jedi, but it is an original helmet from either the second or the third or both films. The nice thing about this one is that it's never been replated. There's a few other original C-3PO helmets that have popped up over the years, but they've all been replated at some point. And when you do that, you really lose a lot of the character of the piece because there's just so much going on with this finish here. You know, it's not a perfect finish by any means. It's a finish that has some wear and tear on it. It's a finish that was never perfect to begin with, so there's a lot of orange peel and texture to it. And if you look at the film, you can actually see all that, so that's what it should look like. And as soon as you replate it and make it a nice, shiny, bright gold object, I think you lose a lot of that. So I know when Steven got this, he was very excited to see that the finish was original and it was an original piece, and it's still got some of the padding on the inside, and it's just great. These are the original light bulbs in the eyes here, which we don't run too much because we don't want to burn them out, but we turned them on here today just for you.
Just for me? All right, thanks.
This is an original prop God Killer weapon from Drive Angry, which was the horror flick starring Nick Cage that came out earlier in the year. This is one of the heroes made for the film. The gun is totally custom created for the film. It's not a real firearm, obviously. It was designed and built by Gary Tunnicliffe, and there were several different versions in the film. This version is what they call the loading version, so it breaks open at the center, basically held together with a heavy magnet. You got a special round in there, which is the God Killer round, which I don't know how well you see this in the film, but I think he does reload it in one shot. And then basically, just like that, you've got the heavy magnet in there and just snaps closed. So cool. This is actually made out of cast metal, so it's got a good weight to it. And it's one of the pieces that we've got on display here at Comic-Con. The sword here is an original stunt sword used by Tigress in Gladiator. Tigress, of course, has the fight with Russell Crowe, where they have the tigers on chains that come out and keep clawing at Crowe also. So this one is made from rubber. I believe the handle and the hand guard here are resin, but the blade is made from rubber. It's a heavy rubber, but if you got hit with it, it would be nicer than getting hit with an aluminum one. So this is what they would actually fight with, and if you look closely at the blade, you can see there's all kinds of marks from action on set. And there's a lot of wear on the handguard here as well, but this was designed and built by Simon Atherton for the film. Obviously, all the detailing on the handle here ties in with the theme of tigers. You've got tiger paws. Next piece on our tour here, we have an original Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman cowl from Batman Returns. The cowl is made out of foam latex, created for the second film, obviously, the Tim Burton sequel to the original 1992 Batman Returns. An interesting thing about this piece is that, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a purple sticker in the back of it, a purple dot. And on the Batman films, they were color coding all of the pieces to differentiate between hero and stunt. So when we went to the Warner archive, we learned that purple indicates it's a Michelle Pfeiffer piece, and I believe there are also green and red pieces, which were for stunt use. So this one is a hero. You can see, obviously, it's a thin casting. It is fairly fragile, but this one is held up well. It's one of the better ones we've ever seen, and it's just on a custom stand here that sets it off nicely. So to go with the C-3PO helmet, we have an original C-3PO hand here. This hand, we believe, was created for the second film, Empire Strikes Back. It differs from the hands in the first film in that it's cast as one piece. It's basically cast out of a heavy vinyl. In the first movie, the hands were basically a black glove with different armor components attached to them. But it was a little clunky. You can actually see in the film, it just doesn't look like it works that well. So they went with a simpler design, which is just a one-piece glove, essentially, with some details on it to make certain things pop out. Like you've got the rings here on the fingers, which look like they're cast plastic plated. You've got the wires on the palm here. And the interesting thing about these is that all the other C-3PO hands we've ever seen have had the wires painted on. Whereas this hand, the wires are actually real wires that have been glued on. So probably a hero piece intended for close-ups, or maybe just an earlier one, and later they simplified it by painting the wires on. You can see the snaps here for a closure over the wrist to hold it tight. And the crew member this came from said that when he first got it, it was actually really soft and supple, and you could make a fist with it. And over the years, the material is just hardened up. And so today it's fairly stiff. Also, as you can see, a lot of the plating is gone. If you look at the finish, it's just a very non-porous finish, and I think the plating just never adhered that well. So over time, you have to be really careful when you handle it because the plating will come off on your skin.
So did this area used to look plated like that? Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, basically what you're seeing there, the tan brown color is the natural color of the material, and then it was plated. And we have seen a few of these over the years, and we assume that the reason for that is just that they had to have a lot of them because the plating didn't stick.
Right.
Basically, you know, once a set went and it wasn't good enough for camera use anymore, they just swap in a new one.
Do you know what these little indents?
Yeah, there used to be little piston details on here. Similar to the styling of other details on the suit, like on the arms and the little bolt at the top of the forehead. Right. And I would guess that because those were machine pieces, they were probably a little more expensive, and they probably just took them off the hand, and swapped them onto the next one. So this piece here is an original Predator backpack from the first Predator film. This was made at Stan Winston's shop, and this is an animatronic piece, so it has the functional shoulder cannon on it. It's got a few different axes of movement. It goes up and down. It goes left and right. And it has a tilt. So this is all operated by radio control, which Ian is running here. It's the original mech. We had to replace the drive belts in there because they're rubber drive belts that had rotted in the 20 years since they did the film. And it's the radio's new, but everything else is the original mech. So it's pretty cool because you don't see a lot of animatronic pieces from this era. It's a nice early one, and yeah, it's just a nice piece of kit. Anything you can add?
No, it's still good quality. It's rubber construction over the whole thing. Yes, there's the drive. There's only two controls, so right control is up and down, and left control is directional. So that's directional, and right control is up and down.
Put a target on Dave Appleton.
Will it go that far to the right?
I always hated those nuts. Thanks.
The design of this was carried through to later Predator films. Pretty much in all the Predator movies, he had a shoulder cannon like this. And in fact, in Alien vs. Predator, you see at one point a cannon style just like this early one that they find in the Predator's temple. So it had some longevity through the Predator series.